Good morning, class. My name is Isabela Caso, and today I will talk about corporate social responsibility. So, I'd like to start with a quote. It says, "Creating a strong business and building a better world are not conflicting goals. They are both essential ingredients for long term success." Bill Ford. So, first, what is CSR? Corporate social responsibility is defined as a form of self-regulation that reflects a business accountability and commitment to contributing to a well-being of communities and societies through various environmental social measures. In simple terms, it's basically how a company self-regulates their impact regarding the economy, the environment, and the community. Recently, it has become very important for a company to be a CSR. Consumers are now asking for CSR credentials and are now making their purchases based on a company's CSR efforts. Here we have the CSR goal. The CSR goal is basically to make profit while at the same time taking care of the environment and taking care of the society. Now we will discuss the environmental and social issues. Environmental issues are harmful effects to the earth and its natural systems due to human actions. First, in the loss of wildlife and biodiversity, there has been an increase recently due to agriculture and deforestation. Several wildlife have gone extinct by now, and some of them are in danger of extinction. Next, we have climate change. Climate change is defined as climate patterns attributed largely to increased levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide, which is produced by the use of fossil fuels. Now, the main two sources of climate change are pollution and also the increase of greenhouse gas emissions. Greenhouse gas emissions have increased the temperature, which is why global warming has been increasing in the past few decades. We can see global warming being reflected in the hot temperature, which creates wildfires, as we have seen in Australia, in the rising sea levels, creating weak marine ecosystems, and in the melting of glaciers. Now, in the oceans, the coral reefs specifically are getting weaker due to the hot rising temperatures. Ocean is also affected by pollution. A lot of marine ecosystems are either eating the plastic or getting killed by them. Now, talking about pollution. Pollution is harmful materials, primarily man-made materials that are introduced into the environment. These can be seen as trash and plastic. Now, pollution not only damages the ocean, but it also damages the quality of the land and the air. Next, we have social issues. Social issues are problems that affect many people in a society. Now, in the human rights section, this means that a company will respect human rights and will do something about it if someone were to violate them. Next, we have gender, more specifically gender equality. Now, some of the efforts a company can do to address this gender inequality issue is to give both genders the same type of opportunities, the same pay, and also to not make any decisions based on gender. Next, we have ethics. Every business has corporate social responsibility regarding ethics. Why? Well, most of the unethical practices are illegal. And if they're not illegal, they are still damaging a member, whether it's a partner, whether it's a consumer, or whether it's an employee. Next, we have the types of CSR efforts. First, we have environmental efforts. Here is where we see a company take care of its impact and self-regulate it of the environment. Now, one of the most effective environmental efforts a company can focus on is reducing their greenhouse gas emissions. Next, we have charity. This is a type of effort where a company gives back to society. Next, we have ethical labor practices. These are practices that are legal and that are fair. Now, this can be seen as fair payment, also providing a good working condition for all employees, and giving the quality and the safety that they're promising consumers through their product and services. Next, we have volunteering. This is also a practice and effort where a company gives back to the society. This can be seen in companies that create their own volunteering programs or they participate on external volunteering programs. Next, we have brand perception. Now, why is brand perception so important? Well, surveys indicate that 61% of consumers would buy a product from a socially responsible company or would switch retailers if the cost and quality were equal. This means that consumers are now making their purchases based on the company's CSR efforts. Now, who has a perception of the brand? Well, employees, consumers, and external stakeholders such as investors and creditors. Brand perception is key regarding CSR efforts. Why? Well, because it will lead to more consumers. It will help retain employees who feel identified with the efforts that the company is doing, and it will make investors want to invest more, or it will attract more investors. Next, we have CSR certification. Now, we have the B Corp certification. The B Corp certification is a designation that a business is meeting high standards of verified performance, accountability, and transparency on factors from employee benefits and charitable giving to supply chain and input materials. Now, a few companies very popular that have B Corp certifications are Ben & Jerry's, BrewDog, Thrive Market, and ButcherBox. Nowadays, it is highly important to be a company with a CSR credential because consumers are now making their purchases based on CSR efforts. And last, we have managerial implications. So here are just a few things that managers can do to increase their CSR efforts within the organization and outside the organizations. So first we have promote ethical practices. Now, make sure that your company is delivering the quality they are promising its consumers. Make sure everyone is being transparent about how they're doing things. Make sure your company is doing everything legal, everything fair. It's treating and providing a safe space and a good working condition for its employees. Next, we have find a way to reduce environmental impact. This will vary depending on every company because of their industry category. But there are always ways for a company to find a way how they can self-regulate their impact and also help the environment. Whether that is using paper straws or using paper bags instead of plastic bags, or reducing the greenhouse gas emissions that the company produces. Next, we have donate to charity and volunteer. Now, a company can do a lot of different things. They can create their own volunteering programs, set a standard hours for their employees to volunteer in a year, and reward them accordingly. They can create their own charity, or they can donate to different charities. And last, we have promote inclusion and diversity. This goes hand in hand in promoting ethical practices as it is providing a safe environment, a transparent environment to all employees. Make sure your employees feel safe, not only with the organization itself, but the human resources in the organization. And that is everything. I'm looking forward to reading your questions, your comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.